What's up, everybody? Welcome to Queer Girl Straight Skates. I'm Rebel, and today I'm going to teach you how to do a little bit of beginner side stance on a ramp. So you might know how to do side stance already. If not, you should go ahead and watch this video, and that's going to teach you how to do side stance on the flat ground. But if you feel confident in your flat ground and now you want to go to a ramp or anywhere that has any sort of incline, then keep watching. Queer Girl Straight Skates is a YouTube channel all about roller skating. So if you love roller skating, or if you want to love roller skating, then you should go ahead and click subscribe and hit that notification button so that you can get notified when I post, which is every week. Today we're at Woodward West. We're at Moxie Skate Camp, and I'm coaching at Moxie Skate Camp, and one of the classes that I'm teaching is how to side stance. So side stance at a glance. We're learning a little bit of how to side stance on flat ground and then how to move it to the ramp. But I've already made a video about how to do regular side stance on flat ground, so go ahead and watch that first and then come back and let's do side stance on a ramp. So you might be like, side stance, what is that? Why does it matter? And where did it even come from? Well, you know how roller skating history is really important? Well, part of roller skating history is park roller skating history. And a long time ago, most of the park competitions were skateboard competitions. And so when roller skating competitions became more popular, the most popular way of roller skating at parks was side stance skating. There were some people that were skating parallel, there were some people that were skating side stance, but it was more popular to skate side stance. So roller skaters like Fred Blood and Duke Rennie really created this whole world around side stance roller skating. And that was really one of the originators of so many different types of roller skating. Nowadays, parallel roller skating is more popular than side stance, but it's really cool and really important to pay homage to the people who came before us and did cool park skating stuff back then. So let's say you already have side stance down and you feel comfortable with your side stance. You might be doing side stance to the right, or you might be doing side stance to the left. You need to know which one you're most comfortable with first before taking it to the ramp. And you should do this by practicing just on flat ground. So you can go side stance, go to the right and be like, oh, that's what I feel best with. Or to the left, you're like, oh, that's what I feel best with. So decide on that first. Once you have that in your mind, you're gonna go to a ramp. And the first thing that we're gonna try and do is we're just gonna try, and we're not gonna try and go far up the ramp at all. We're just gonna try and go in a little circle on the ramp. So just getting used to having a little bit of incline and a little bit of decline. First, let's have some reminders about what's important in side stance. The first thing that's most important is that you're looking wherever you're going. So if you're going towards the left, you're looking wherever you're going. So wherever you're turning, anywhere you're going on the ramp, that's where you're looking. You really want to make sure that you're keeping your knees bent. If your knees aren't bent, you're not going to be able to absorb whatever you're doing. And then we're going to need to make sure that we have our bodies upright. So we don't want to be like this, and we don't want to be like that. We want to make sure we have a good center of gravity. So once you feel good with that, let's move on to the first part. So the first thing that we're going to try is we're just going to try circling a little bit around and just going up like a very, very little bit. So first I'm going to go up to the right because that's how I feel the most comfortable. So I'm gonna start just getting like a little bit of speed, just skating around, and then I'm gonna go into my side stance, and I'm just gonna try going a little bit up, but like when I say a little bit, I literally mean like the smallest amount, just so you feel what it feels like to get a little bit of an incline. That's gonna feel kind of crazy at first, but then once you feel comfortable with that, I want you to try and give it a little bit more speed. And get like a little higher, pump into it. And the way you pump into it and out of it is remembering to switch this back leg. So it's really easy to go like this. It's really easy to go into a side stance and then just switch. And so what you wanna do is you wanna go into it, remember to flip that back leg. Go into it, flip that back leg. So always remember that you're having to push that back leg out. Push. And I'm always looking, that's where I'm looking. So do this until you feel very, very comfortable doing this at a low grade. And that's gonna be the first step to really getting side stance on a ramp. Once you feel comfortable with that, you're gonna narrow down your circle and you're gonna add more speed to it. So what that looks like, instead of doing this, instead of going all the way around like this, you're gonna go into more of a circle. So you're gonna flip around closer and you're gonna add more speed to it. And the way I like to add speed, especially in the beginning, I actually like to pump into it. So I make sure that I have some strategies for going in and out of my side stance. So let's go over those really quickly before we add speed into the equation. So what I like to do is, let's give this side, for example, I'm gonna pump up, and then when I have speed, I'm just gonna kind of pump, and then when I have speed going into it, I'm gonna switch into side stance right before I go up. And then as soon as I switch into side stance, that's where I start pumping. And the way I switch out of side stance, for me, I just go like this and I fix my leg. So I will take my back leg and pull it forward. You can take your switch back from side stance when you're going backwards or forwards. It's whichever one feels comfortable to you. So breaking that down, I will pump up and then I'll get speed coming back, and then going into it, I'll switch into side stance. And then for me, the dismount, when I'm coming backwards, I'll just take my back foot and place it. I like to have my right foot back. You might have your left foot back, so you can place it however you're comfortable. So now that we know how to get in and out of the side stance, I want you to add the speed to it, like this. So I'm gonna get myself some speed just by regular pumping. And then I'm gonna go into side stance right now. You wanna add the speed. And the speed is actually gonna help you. And I give a little extra pump at the top to give me that little rundown on the ramp. So what is pumping? What is pumping in side stance? For me, pumping, then the same way that when you're forward pumping, you're up and down, you're bending your knees to get you that momentum, it's the same in side stance. When you go into a side stance pump, essentially what you're doing is you are bending and straightening, but just in this. So you're doing the same thing as a regular pump, same time as the regular pump, just in side stance instead of in the forward stance or backward stance. Pump, bending, bending, up, bending, bending, up, bending, pump, 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 pump. You find yourself not getting enough speed, you can pump again in the middle. I tend to get enough speed here, so I don't really have to pump in the middle. But let's say I was trying to go higher, then I would pump again in the middle. So one last thing, because this is a beginner side stance class, the difference between front side pumping and backside pumping in side stance. So with front side pumping, that's how I started, and it really helped me to get a grasp on how it felt to go up and down a ramp, but in side stance, and find my balance there. But once you feel confident in that, you wanna try backside pumping. So front side pumping looks more like a circle kind of, and backside pumping looks more back and forth. So let me show you an example of front side pumping. So this is front side pumping, and this is backside pumping. So you see the difference? You're like going in a line as opposed to going around. And there's more forgiveness in the front side pump, and the back side pump, you really have to make sure that you're stacked on top of itself, on top of yourself. There are lots of tricks that you can do backside pumping with side stance that you can't do front side pumping, and so that's why you want to learn both. When I first started understanding what front and backside pumping was for side stance, I thought that backside pumping was something like this and then going backwards, and that's not it. But it's just going, so you have to think about, I'm more pushing my weight back, but I'm only going side to side. I'm not pushing my weight forward at all. So you're not moving in a direction, you're moving like this. And believe it or not, it's really hard. But if you want to start practicing that, one way you can do it is just trying to do your side stance in a straight line, like following this line, and then one of your legs will just kind of go up at the beginning, and then you'll be able to carry your whole body up. And that looks like this. So you're doing the same lifting and bending motion. And this is how you're gonna get used to doing things so that you can eventually drop in. You could do like switch jumps. You could do all sorts of stuff once you're getting really comfortable with this. And that's beginner side stance on a ramp. Let me know if you have any questions, because there's a lot. And I'm also not the expert. Duke Rennie is the expert. Actually, there's lots of experts, but Duke Rennie taught me a lot of things. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Queer Girl Straight Skates. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what else you want to learn in the comments down below. And head on over to cheerstothequeers.com where you can get a bunch of really cool stuff. And any purchase that you make there helps to support me and helps to support this channel. And most importantly, cheers to the queers!